The Republican presidential candidates here in the United States got together last night for the final debate before they start counting the votes. Their first test is less than 3 weeks away, the Iowa caucuses. With us from Austin, Texas this morning, our political analyst here at Bloomberg, Matt Dowd. So, Matt, you said you were waiting to see if Mitt Romney would be on the offense last night. Was he? What was your take? Assess for us the debate.
Well, I think Mitt Romney came into this with a lot of negative TV ads that his campaign had run and a lot of things his surrogates had said, and even things he had said. He had called the day going in, called Newt Gingrich zany, had sort of gone directly on attack. He stayed away from directly attacking Newt Gingrich. He had to parry off some of his own on some of his issues that he had to deal with, but he stayed actually away from the personal attacks. I think it'll probably continue today. He'll probably go off on the trail, but for the debate, he stayed away from that, and I think actually that was a good strategy on his part.
Matt, does Newt Gingrich go back to being above it all, or does he get dragged down into the mud here?
He went back. Actually, that's interesting, Stephen. He went for the last 3 or 4 days. He would actually keep going into the attacks, get dragged down, have fended off. He stayed a bit away from it. He had to deal with some of the offensive that Michele Bachmann had on this. But he and Mitt Romney, who are the two leading candidates for president right now, stayed away from getting dragged down into it. So I think the more Newt Gingrich can stay above it all, and the more he can stay away from the attacks, the better for him.
Matt, given that Michele Bachmann appears to be the single most effective attacker, as it were, against Newt Gingrich, is that a risk for him, that she sticks around in this race perhaps a little longer just to keep digging away at Newt instead of conceding, given the fact that everyone acknowledges at the moment she really has no shot?
Yeah, I think the person or persons who could hurt Newt the most is not Mitt Romney and all his money and all his surrogates. It's not them. It's people like Michele Bachmann or Rick Santorum or even Rick Perry to a degree, who represent the conservatives, who have some appeal to the Tea Party folks, which is the voters that Newt has coalesced. And I think Michele Bachmann's, more than anybody else's attacks last night, were effective on Newt, on the Freddie Mac and on other issues that she went after him on. And so I think the best thing to happen to him is if this race went down to a two-person race and those other candidates fell off. That's Newt's problem right now. He's getting attacked by other conservatives. He's actually getting attacked both from the left and the right. The most effective attacks, I think, are from the right.
To what degree is the politics in Washington affecting the debate that's going to be played out in the Iowa caucuses right now, Matt?
Well, everything is about Washington. All the Republicans say that Washington is broken, Washington is dysfunctional, the president has messed it up, the economy is horrible. And so everything that's sort of discussed, surfaced, and not done in Washington surfaces in these moments in these campaigns and will continue to do so. I think this whole entire campaign from now until November is going to be about Washington. It's about the fact that Washington is broken. The president, after this nomination process, is going to defend Washington and say we've done a lot of great things. We've been able to improve some stuff. The Republicans constantly are going to say Washington is just out of sync and doesn't know what they're doing. And so I think Washington is always going to be a pivot point in this campaign.
Matt, people aren't drawing too much of a connection between the threat of a government shutdown again and the fact that Newt Gingrich was the last guy to shut down the U.S. government. Does that play to his favor or against him?
Well, among the Republicans in this field, they would like the government shut down. I think most Republican voters and a lot of caucus attendees or potential caucus attendees in Iowa would just as soon have the federal government went away. That's not a good message in November among independents. For most Republican voters, they would just as soon see the federal government fade into the distance and it be based in state government, not at the federal government level.
That makes me think that without a federal government, we'd look a whole lot more like Europe. I'm not sure that's what we want. Matt, thanks very much.
I agree
good to
with
see you this morning.
Thanks.